It's going to be a clean sheet for Anang, who's making absolutely sure. Very precise about placing the ball there, but Pats, they make home advantage count. Stephen Kenny's men getting an early enough goal through Chris Forrester on 17 minutes, and then two late ones in the final 10 minutes from Mason Melia and Jason McClelland off the bench. Kenny gets the better of Reynolds this time, and St Patrick's Athletic worthy of their win, albeit the scoreline is maybe a little harsh on Bows. It's finished. St Pat's 3, Bohemians 0. Analysis to come.
So a 3-0 win for St Pat's tonight against Bohemians. Keith, was it a fair result?
Maybe 3-0, flattered Pats a little bit, but look, I think what Alan Reynolds would be saying in the dressing room after the game is that was way too comfortable for St Pat's. It's a Dublin derby. I didn't think Bows had any sort of tempo in their play. I thought they were quite lethargic, and when they did get into good areas, they were very, very toothless. So, very poor performance from Bows, if we're being honest. Like I say, I don't think Alan Reynolds will be happy with that whatsoever.
Ian, was it the perfect response from Pats after the Rovers loss?
Yeah, big result for them tonight, and I think it was a fairly tame game for a Dublin derby. I don't think the energy levels were great. I don't think the enthusiasm was great. I do think 3-0 flatters Pats. They didn't get out of second gear, but a bad night for Bows tonight.
OK, so Pats win the big Dublin derby at Richmond Park against Bows. It finished 3-0. Analysis and reaction on the way. One more League of Ireland fixture to bring you this month. Cork City against Drogheda United on Friday, March 28th. And a comfortable 3-0 win for St Pat's tonight. A goal and an assist from Chris Forrester helped the cause. He was deemed player of the match and is standing by now with Jonathan Higgins.
Chris Foster, player of the match. First, we'll present your award, Vanessa, from SSE Airtricity.
Thank you.
Congratulations. The music is blaring behind. A great night for your side.
Yeah, absolutely. Good disciplined performance. Bows a decent team. We cut us open a few times, but we stayed disciplined, we stayed rigid, and we took the 3 goals, so it's a pleasing day.
Talk to me about your goal. You showed a lot of calm and composure there when the ball kind of broke in the edge of the area. Yeah,
I had one a few minutes before that where it felt me and it just kind of got away from me. So I knew I needed to snapshot kind of. So yeah, thankfully it went in. I kind of peeled off. PJ told me there'll be an opportunity there, so yeah, it worked out well. And
that wasn't the end of you. You got a beautiful assist in a little bit later in the second half.
Yeah, happy to contribute in whatever way I can. Delighted for Jay coming off the bench. He worked so hard for us, getting a goal. And I think Mason got the touch on it, so I'm delighted for him as well. It's tough going with him and Ada up there. It's good battling for position. So disciplined performance from him. I'm just happy for him.
Huge crowd, as we said, over 5,000. It must be special to play in front of it.
Yeah, it is. There's a good energy here. I think we got a new light system as well, so it's a bit easier to see past us today. But no, the lads are buzzing. We came out of a tough game last week where we could have probably edged it, draw probably fair result. So we weren't feeling too down. We knew tonight we could put it right, and we did.
Congratulations, Chris.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks very much.
Keith, a great night for him, like a goal and an assist. We've got a lot of great players in this league, and he's certainly up there.
Yeah, he's right up there. He's very, very close to the top of the tree if he's not up there himself. He's an absolute legend. And I know people at Pats don't like me saying this, but he is the heartbeat of that team. And I do think if you go and stop Chris Forrester playing in Inchicore, you go an awful long way to stopping this Pats team. He came to the forefront. This is brilliant. The little bit of battling from him here. There he's in a running down a dead end. What can he do? 32 years of age, still getting away from each other, just as elusive as he's always been. And we always use the word composure with Chris because he never seems flustered on the ball. And the best players for me are the ones who just keep popping up in pockets and never seem to be flustered. This is a brilliant forced touch. It is going away from that left. The forced touch with his left foot drags it into the right foot and he hits it first time. Bows will be disgusted with the reaction time. But again, trying to get Mulroney in behind, he's not far off there. He is everything that's good about this Pats team going forward. Defensively, you will be able to get in behind them, but look, he's absolutely evergreen. He just keeps going and going, and as Vinny said in commentary, we call him a League of Ireland legend that gets thrown about an awful lot, but there's no better way to put it. He is an absolute legend in the League of Ireland.
Ian, would you go along with that?
Yeah, absolutely. He's so calm. If he was any more laid back, he'd be lying down. He's so good on the ball, but you can actually see when he's playing football, he absolutely loves it. You can see he enjoys the game, loves his footwork, loves getting shots off, loves passing, gets around the park, smile on his face. Bit of crack there at the end there as well, but he's such a good ambassador for the league, and it looks like he's not slowing down.
And then if we look at a player at the other end of his career, Mason Melia, first goal for him. What did you make of him tonight?
I thought he was good. Sean Gretton is his young 21s teammate now. Gave him a couple of good knocks tonight, and he had to deal with it. He had to take a few from behind. He got himself up. He kept running, was keen. But the quality here, we've just seen Chris Forrester. Lovely, lovely run, nice and calm, and he just waits for that moment to slip it in. What I love about Melia here is a lot of strikers now want to get into the box and then pull back to the penalty spot or pull to the edge and not gamble across that 6-yard box. And that's what he does here. And if he hadn't have done that, he wouldn't have got the goal, because Gretton gets a little nick and Mason's just made that run. He's kept going, thinking, I'm going to sniff a chance out here, and he gets his rewards with a little nick to knock it into the back of the net.
And Keith, Pats, they finished with a flourish, a 3-0. McClelland, a goal and an assist for him. Talk us through the goal.
Yeah, that's exactly what Stephen Kenny would have wanted, bringing players off the bench. I can look at Mulroney and El Bouzebbi and you think maybe they were a little bit undercooked, but bringing the likes of McClelland off the bench, being able to affect the game, Mason as well coming off the bench, it's a big, strong squad that St. Pat's have. And this from McClelland is brilliant. Forced touch, just pulls it back. His forced touch is brilliant. He knows when he takes that forced touch, I'm setting up a shot here. You see him here, back across the defender's body. I think it's Morahan's trying to get close to him. Great forced touch, great finish. And it's exactly what Stephen Kenny would have been telling him. Go out and get yourself a goal and show us all that you should be in the starting 11.
Ian, did Pats remind us tonight that they will challenge for the title?
You know, I wouldn't go that far based on the performance. I wouldn't be raving about the performance. I think Chris Forrester was right in a sense. They were disciplined, a bit more disciplined and rigid than they were against Rovers. They were a bit more wide open. But they didn't have an awful lot of defending to do. Anang in the goal didn't have many big saves. He had a couple he had to kind of deal with. But they weren't blistering tonight. Like El Bouzebbi wasn't fantastic. They weren't rip-roaring down the sides, getting loads of shots, loads of crosses in. But they were nice, showed a different side of the game. And when it really mattered, put the ball in the net.
Keith, you're more bullish about them though, aren't you?
Yeah, look, I look at them going forward. Mulroney, El Bouzebbi, Bagley, Forrester, Keane on fire, Mason Melia. I look at the front six lads and I think there's enough there to go and win the league. Defensively, I do look at them and think they're wide open at times. And Joe Redmond as well, just going down with a little injury towards the end of the game, will be a worry for them, because Grogowski and Redmond as a pair are very, very good together. If you break one of them up, I think you do come down in levels. But they have everything. I just think they need to worry about what happens if we lose the ball. But one thing I will say, Jamie Lennon is to come back into that squad. He'll come back into that midfield and he will shore it up.
On the other end, like 4 defeats for Bohs, Ian, like consistency was their main enemy last year. Is it more of the same this year?
Yeah, it's tough for them. Like, you look at the goals that they've given away, a lot they could do better with in defensively. You look at, Vinny mentioned it a couple of times, we highlighted it before, after the game, on the way they're setting up, the way they're trying to play. They're trying a couple of different pieces, chopping and changing personnel. I'm not sure if Alan Reynolds knows what his best 11 is at the moment, and they're going to need time. They didn't put Pats to the sword at all tonight. You've watched their first game against Rovers, their energy levels, big pitch, getting around, loads of legs, moving the ball, chances. There was just no energy tonight. I think Sean Gretton probably the only one that put himself about and had a little bit of grit about him tonight. There wasn't much from anyone else.
And you could see that in their attack tonight, Keith.
Yeah, fairly toothless. And look, I think they set the bar. The first game when he played Shamrock Rovers in the Aviva, they set the bar that night and they haven't really reached it since. This is Whelan taking a shot on. Look, I know he's full of confidence, scored a hat-trick last week, but there's an easier pass out to Smith to the right back and you go from there. It's just decision-making at the right time again. You know, can you get a pass off here? Sort of runs down a dead end and then decides he will do it. But even the passes, it's laboured out there. It's not fizzed out. You can't move. You need to move the ball an awful lot quicker against decent defences. Again, you know, Anang, it's a decent enough save. Anang is not having to work too hard. Just it's a decent run from midfield, but they just didn't seem to have that last little bit of quality. I know we're talking about Whelan and Mousset come on towards the end. I'm not so sure about Mousset. When he come on in the Aviva, he looked really good. But 33,000 in the National Stadium, there is a world where he turned up in that game and he tails off. And you know, I understand why Bohs have taken a risk on him, but at the minute, you know, they need more. They need more from an awful lot of players. And last season, when I looked at Bohs, I thought when the going gets tough, a lot of their players go missing. And they went missing today in Inchicore in a Dublin derby. And Alan Reynolds won't be happy with that.
It's impact as well, though, isn't it? Like, you look at the Pat subs, McClelland on, assist, goal, Melia on, goal. That's what you're looking for when you're making changes. You're rolling that dice. You're going, go and affect the game. Go grab the shirt. Because you're seeing with the changes in the Bohs lineup, I think there's places up for grabs there every week.
Ian, you worked with Alan Reynolds at Shels. Like, what will he be saying to the players after that?
He'll have to pick them up. He's talked about confidence all week. Like, he's going to have to get them back into training very quickly, lift spirits, but he'll also let them know what they're not doing as well, because he'll expect a hell of a lot more. Rennie's been around, he's won things, he knows the game. He'll have to drive this squad and really, really get them to start gelling quickly.
Look, one thing we do have to mention, Keith, tonight, it was the biggest attendance at Richmond Park for over 20 years. It's amazing. Yeah,
it's brilliant. I go to Inchicore quite a lot, and look, when I came back into the league in, I think, 2015, and, you know, there's probably 2,000 people at the games, depending if it was a big game or not. So to see the attendance is the way they are, it's absolutely brilliant. And look, I think the product, I think the players on the pitch are the ones that are driving it. The quality has got an awful lot higher since the season has started. This season, you know, I've been on the edge of my seat with most of the quality. So yeah, it all looks to be going in the right direction. Fans are loving it, and I'm definitely loving it as well.
I think we all are. Well, time for a quick break. But when we come back, a roundup from around the grounds tonight with all 10 teams in action this evening. The last round of fixtures in this year's Six Nations tomorrow. We have the clash between Wales and England. Coverage begins at 4:15 on Virgin Media 1. And more League of Ireland on the way at the end of the month. Cork City against Drogheda United is on Friday, March 28th. Now, a happy man in Inchicore tonight is the St. Pat's manager. Jonathan Higgins is standing by now with Stephen Kenny.
Stephen, brilliant night for your side.
Yeah, no, very pleased with the win. You know, it was a tough game. Bohemians played well, and they're a very good team. You know, they're gonna be up there. They caused a lot of problems for a lot of teams, and so we're pleased to win 3-0. And I think there's room for improvement in a lot of aspects of our play still.
It felt like a game where you had to roll up the sleeves for large periods, and I suppose added to that you have quality. Then it's a nice combination.
Yeah, we had to show a different side today than, you know, another, like, we're so loose here. We're 4-3 against Sligo. We created probably 10 chances and we were dominating and conceded 3. Unfortunately, we had to show a different side. Clean sheet today. Defending set pieces. All the bread and butter stuff we did very well. And because we've got a small team today, so, you know, the two midfielders, Barry Bagley and Brandon Kavanagh. You know, the diminutive. I said to them, many people in your life have told you too small to play in the centre midfield, and you know, I'm sure it's hundreds, and they've got to defy those things and show that skill can overcome physical strength, and these things are important.
And great to see Mason getting in on the act as well.
Yeah, Mason's had obviously 4 months inactive, and then, you know, coming back in the expectation, he's got to deal with everything. And you know, he's a great young player, terrific young player. He's only getting there now at the moment, having had you know, 2 games, and you know, we have to give him a breather tonight, and he's going away with the Irish under-21s next week. He'll get more action there, and he'll come back even better. So listen, he's a joy to work with.
Well, the crowd of over 5,000 will go home happy as well.
I hope so, but we have to improve on that as well. That wasn't perfect, we know that, and I think and Bohs were, you know, unfortunate to lose 3-0. I felt they gave us a right game.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Keith, definitely a happy man, but he says there was room for improvement.
Yeah, I think he was really honest. I think that was a fair appraisal of the game. I think he's been. I don't think Bohs were as good as he was making out. I think there's an awful lot of room for improvement from a Bohs point of view. Again, I think it was really comfortable given the fact that it was a Dublin derby. I think, as he said, I think 3-0 did flatter Pats, but Bohs were never in the game. Pats were never under the cosh. Anang never had to make any saves. Redmond didn't have to clear any balls. Grogowski wasn't getting asked any questions. Solberg and Breslin, the two wing-backs, didn't have to defend well in 1v1 situations. So I think Reynolds will be really, really disappointed. But as Stephen Kenny says, a 3-0 win and you have room for improvement. It's good signs for St. Pat's.
Absolutely, and he spoke about the expectation on Mason Melia as well, which was interesting, Ian, but he was full of praise for him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's loving working with him. He's got two top strikers to work with in Keena and Mason Melia. But he's right in what he's saying. I'd say he's thinking 3-0 was a over flattering for us tonight, but it was nice. They done the other side of the game really well. Clean sheets, which are going to be massive this season. They'll be delighted with 3 points. Kicks them on, and I'm sure their levels will only get better.
Absolutely. OK, let's look at what happened elsewhere in the Premier Division tonight. First up, Waterford were headed to Eamon DC Park to take on Galway United. Vincent Borden's header in the 80th minute was the only goal in this one. Galway 1, Waterford 0 was the final score. Shelbourne were beaten by Drogheda in their last match. They hosted Cork City at Tolka Park. There was a touch of fortune for Cork's opening goal. Conor Carnes stopped Rio Shipston's deflected shot, but he was unable to keep out Rory Keating's follow-up effort. The champions equalised in the 70th minute. Evan Caffrey with a lovely volley to make it 1-1, and that's how it finished at Tolka Park. The other game tonight saw league leaders and form side Drogheda United take on Shamrock Rovers, and it was the home side who struck first, Conor Keeley with the goal to put Drogheda 1-0 up in the 33rd minute. Shamrock Rovers levelled it up just before the break. Aaron Green with a lovely run and finish to make it 1-1. The visitors then grabbed the winning goal in the 70th minute. Starman Graham Burke with a tidy finish into the bottom corner to give Rovers a 2-1 win in Drogheda. So, confirmation of all tonight's results. Drogheda United 1, Shamrock Rovers 2, Galway United 1, Waterford 0, Shelbourne 1, Cork City 1. And of course, St. Pat's 3, Bohemians 0. Despite their defeat, Drogheda are still top. St. Pat's are into second, level with Galway. Now a tough night for Bohs. Here's their manager, Alan Reynolds.
Alan, disappointing night tonight for your side.
Yeah, I don't think we deserved that. And looking at the second half performance, 1-0 tight. We had a chance. Collie Whelan was unlucky. They go into a back five, I suppose. They surrender and then they're going, we're dominating the game, and the catches on the counter attack, I suppose, with 2 at the end.
Yeah, the scoreline does seem like an unjust reflection of the game, I thought.
Yeah, but look, if you look at the second half and you come away here and you dominate possession, and obviously they bring on an extra defender because they're concerned about it, but obviously they pace and to break the score, and that's what happened.
I guess there's a lot of frustration with the concession of the first goal as well, because I felt like you were on top prior to that.
Yeah, look, come here. I felt it was even first half. They started well, it was even, but look, we're not getting any breaks at the minute, but we stick together. There's a good group in there who are hurting, but I don't think it was 3-0 tonight, and another night we go and equalise and we see where it goes from there. So first half was even, the second half I thought we dominated for half an hour.
Yeah, you made those changes and I thought you're right. You had a good, a lot of possession down one end. You were knocking on the door, and I felt like the second was maybe like the first, just kind of slightly against the run of play.
Definitely the second. As I said, they put on an extra defender and they knew they were, I suppose, under a little bit of pressure. But it's about taking chances, isn't it? We didn't create loads, but with a lot of possession, I would have felt.
It's a difficult place like this when you don't get the breaks. It's hard to see the light at times, is it?
That is, yeah. It's difficult, because you live and everything is about it. It's 24/7, which for every manager. So it's disappointing, but it's disappointing for the fans tonight as well. So players are hurting in there. So we'll have a couple of days off and get back in.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Ian, a lot of frustration there from Alan Reynolds.
Yeah, you can see that's hurting them, and it's going to be hurting that whole dressing room. They brought in a lot of new players. They're trying to find out what fits best for us. They've a good side. I still believe that they'll be there or thereabouts as the season goes. I think they're just going to need to settle on what's our best 11, what's going to get us results. I think going forward they were excellent, although tonight you'd have never have guessed that. But if they start to get really settled, become a little bit what Pat's done tonight, nice, organised, hard to break down, I think attacking wise they'll hurt teams. So they just need to pick themselves up, dust themselves down, because the big games keep on coming.
And look, he said there, Keith, they're just not getting the breaks. Would you agree?
I'm not so sure. I mean, Alan Reynolds is saying that they dominated the game for large periods in the second half. They'd one shot on target in the second 45 minutes. So, look, domination of the ball doesn't mean domination of the game for me. They had the lion's share of it, but in terms of Anang making saves, as I said, the back four didn't have an awful lot to do. Chris Forrester didn't have to do too much donkey work, neither did Bagley in the middle of the pitch. So I don't think they asked enough questions. I don't think they had enough clear-cut chances, and I don't think they did enough. Now, I agree that the 3-0 was a little bit too much from St. Pat's point of view, but I think Alan Reynolds would be disgusted with that performance. It was a really, really poor, low-key performance, and when you wake up on a Monday morning and you know you've got a Dublin derby Friday night, it should be in your head Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That doesn't look like a performance that's been brewing all week. They look really poor and flat and toothless.
Well, St. Pat's captain Joe Redmond was rock solid in defence. He's talking to Jonathan Higgins now.
Joe, a night of fancy new lights, beautiful stadium adjustments, but it felt like you had to roll up the sleeves at time and go back to old school. A brilliant display from your side.
Yeah, definitely. 3-0 is a great result, but 2 late goals, we had to roll up the sleeves and defend our box well, and then let the attacking players do what they do. I mean, we've got so much quality up there, so if we do our job down in the defensive end, I'm sure there'll be no problem getting goals.
And the clean sheet obviously is very, very pleasing for your side, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. It's something we pride ourselves on, and now we're all buzzing in there, and look, we've got a break now, so it's a great 3 points going into the break, but we won't be getting carried away, and we'll be resting and recovering and come back strong after the break.
It felt like for large periods you had to roll up the sleeves there. They asked a few questions of you guys.
Yeah, definitely. They've got a lot of quality in that dressing room, and they were always going to ask questions, and I thought they were really good, and we solved a lot of their problems. So yeah, no, it's a big plus from us. I thought 2-man in there, we were all excellent. So now look, I'm really pleased for the squad in there. And
the dressing room come into a nice stage. You've come to like the first part of the season is almost over now.
Yeah, look, 6 games in, feels a little bit longer, but no, yeah, it is good getting another 3 points on the board and another clean sheet.
Because the league just feels like you look at the results and it feels like it's so competitive.
Yeah, no, it is extremely competitive. I think everyone has improved their squads on last year, and it's great now. There's no easy games in the league, and you see that every week, and it's great to come up against such high quality oppositions.
Well, congratulations tonight, Joe.
Cheers, thanks very much.
He was speaking there, Keith, about how they solved a lot of Bo's problems.
Yeah, I, from a centre-half's point of view, you would be saying that when the opposition don't do a lot going forward, you pat yourself on the back. But look, what Stephen Kenny and what Joe was saying is right. There's no point in getting carried away from a Pat's point of view. If you go back to the start of the season, Drogheda 0-0 draw at home was a little bit underwhelming. The Galway game, they then go and lose, although I thought they did okay. They were competitive. Then the Sligo game, they win 4-3, but Sligo score 3, miss a penalty. It's unconvincing from St. Pat's. The Derry game, they go and win 2-0. Brilliant, but Derry have a man sent off. That's not Pat's problem, but they were really good in that game. Shamrock Rovers, not great. Tonight, really good, but you look at the opposition and think they weren't really up against much. So it's been a mixed bag from Pats. I think it's been a mixed bag from most of the bigger boys in the league. But look, one thing that Stephen Kenny and all Pats fans will know, a slow start killed them last season. So they're desperate to avoid that. And I think with this win tonight, they've just come away from average to an okay start.
Yeah, and he was talking there as well, Ian, about how competitive this league is, and it certainly is.
Yeah, there's a lot of quality in the league now, but also if you're at it, you can punish teams. I think the amount of goals that have been conceded in terms of like the quality and how you can prevent them, I think there's a lot of opportunities. I think we'll see a lot of strikers hit 20 goals this year, which I don't think has been done in recent years. There's a lot of opportunity for goals in this season, which for us is going to be brilliant.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the other games tonight. And one of the big games, big results, was Shamrock Rovers coming from 1-0 down to win 2-1. What did you make of that tonight, Keith?
Yeah, good result from Shamrock Rovers. They needed that. You feel like they couldn't afford to lose. But look, Drogheda are absolutely no pushovers these days. Kevin Doherty, what the messages coming out from him is, we're good enough, we're the FAI Cup holders, and they feel like they've a bit to prove. And look, it's been an unbelievable start from Drogheda. Losing at home to Shamrock Rovers is something that, you know, obviously will not feel good, but given the start they've had, it's been really, really good. So that's an unbelievable finish from a centre-half. Doesn't try and do too much with it, just gets good contact on it, hits the target and scores. And look, Drogheda will be really, really good. I think when you simplify it, the remit for Drogheda is to stay in the league. They've started like a house on fire, so really, really good from them, and hopefully I can keep it going, my old club.
Yeah, and like they're still top in. They're the early story of the season, really, aren't they?
They've been brilliant. You can see even the way they are as a team. They're all together. They're going to keep driving, and they've nearly played everyone now, and that's still top of the league. They'll have loads of confidence in themselves to take points as the season moves on.
Shelbourne, they were looking to bounce back, and they did well to come from behind at Cork City, against Cork City.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a fortunate goal from a Cork point of view. Gets a big deflection. Cairns manages to save it, but Keaton is the first one to react and smashes it home. So they reacted well. They got their equalising goal. Just didn't seem like they had that ruthlessness to go and stand on Cork's throat when they smelled that bit of blood. But you know, I'm reading in the build-up that they've been hit with a virus. I know they didn't have Coyle in the middle of the pitch. So all in all, I don't think you'll hear Damien Duff or any Shelbourne player saying this, but possibly happy with the draw given the virus that is in and around the squad right now.
Yeah, do you think that had a big impacting?
You know, when you look at the team that they started with and then the subs they've made, I don't think it was too bad. But that's a big result for them there tonight. Like, they could have folded. The excuse came out before the game, which you can kind of use in your back pocket if you need to. So, but that's a huge draw for them, a huge point at home. Evan Caffrey again having a fantastic start to the season. And
the old cliche, Keith, Eamon DC Park, it's a hard place to go to get a win, and Galway, they'll be delighted with their start to the season. Yeah,
Galway's one of those clubs that nobody wants to play against, and they just ask question after question after question. It's no surprise that it's a header from a set piece, and I don't know why people would shy away from this. I know people throw old school at John Caulfield and Ollie Horgan, but nobody wants to play centre-half against Galway because they ask questions, they make you defend. And so much of modern football now, centre-halves have the ball in front of them. It's about picking passes, but they get asked to defend against Galway. So, yeah, look, I think Galway, again, you're looking at who's going to get relegated, who's going to be down the bottom come the end of the season. But they've been started really, really well, and I've no idea who's going to be down the bottom. But that's what you look at. When you look at Galway, they know who they are. Yeah. They know what they're good at. They play to their strengths. They're organised. Everyone knows their job. If you flip that tonight to Bows, I don't think you can say the same about them.
Well, my thanks to Ian and Keith for tonight. It might be a bit early for a happy St. Patrick's Day, but it certainly was a happy St. Patrick's night. Bye for now.